Were you not assigned at one time to work on plans for the continuity of government in the event of a major disaster?
Mr. Chairman.
I believe that question touches upon a highly sensitive and classified area, so may I request that you not touch upon that, sir.
I was particularly concerned, Mr. Chairman, because I read in Miami papers and several others that there had been a plan developed by that same agency, a contingency plan in the event of emergency that would suspend the American Constitution. And I was deeply concerned about it and wondered if that was the area in which he had worked. I believe that it was,
may I most respectfully request that that matter not be touched upon at this stage. If we wish to get into this, I'm certain arrangements can be made for an executive session.
What you think about the King Alfred plan? You ain't heard? Where you been, man? If I may paraphrase the government notice reads,
should there at any time become a clear and present danger initiated by any radical element threatening the operations of the government of the United States of America, members of this radical element shall be transported to detention centers until such time as their threat has been eliminated. Code King Alfred.
brothers and sisters, there is a place for you in America. This is the King Alfred plan.
Well, we're back, and we just did the series on the Willie Lynch, but right now we're gonna go a lot farther, and we're gonna deal with the King Alfred plan, Rex 84. The King Alfred plan, Rex 84. For those who don't know nothing about this, some of you may, but those who don't, I'm gonna have Brother Salim educate you right now. What's going on, Brother Salim?
Peace and blessings, my brother.
Okay, let's go to work on this here. The King Alfred plan. Tell me what it is, what's going on, and what's its purpose.
Well, one of the things that we got to understand, Unknown Rebel, is that we've been on the government shit list ever since we arrived over here in Jamestown, Virginia, 1619. You know, white folks have had their foot on our necks ever since, and they decided that, you know, once they no longer need us, that we are to be eliminated. And there are all kinds of plans and, you know, covert programs in order to help facilitate that. But one of the most notable is the King Alfred plan. As you mentioned, they updated the name and they now call it Rex 84. And how a lot of people first heard about King Alfred was a book that came out in the 1970s, I believe, by John Williams. The name of the book was The Man Who Cried I Am by John Williams. And it was a book. It was a book called, if you go to Webster's Dictionary, they have a term in Webster's Dictionary, Latin. It is Roman et cliff. Let me repeat that one more again. Roman et cliff. That is a novel that's supposed to be based on actual events. You understand? It's disguised, written as fiction. It's disguised history written as fiction. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, so it's about black militants and black organizations trying to rise up and get their freedom. And they mentioned in the book the King Alfred document, okay, which when you, again, a lot of people read this, they think it's fictional, but it's supposed to be based on historical documentation, all right? And the King Alfred plan talks about a list of people and different organizations in the black community that the government would keep under surveillance. And it speaks of the racism in the United States and what the government allegedly tried to do for black people, and how if the minority does not, you know, settle down and accept things the way they are, that there's going to come a point in which America is going to have to just totally eliminate black people just like you do roaches when you get a can of Raid. Now, we have to remember that Malcolm said, once said, he said that if black people are not careful, he said that we're going to end up going to gas chambers just like the Jews did in Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
Kwame Ture, a.k.a. also known as Stokely Carmichael, said in that Free Huey speech, go on YouTube and look at that Free Huey speech by Kwame Ture or Stokely Carmichael.
We have to recognize who our major enemy is. The major enemy is not your brother, flesh of your flesh and blood of your blood.
And in that speech, which I have, the original disc of, he said that there's a possibility that America was planning genocide against the black race, all right?
I don't think we are particularly evil. There just can't be gods amongst us. It's not fair.
So in this document, they show the areas of the various concentration camps that they have across the map.
They already have concentration camps in the United States of motherfucking America that they've been building for 4 years now. And the question is, who in the fuck is you
when the president declares an emergency and it's time to round up all these black folk and put them in some of these storage facilities until we decide what we're going to do with them.
Also, a white man by the name of Tex Mars, he died, but he used to put out a lot of documented information. He got a video out called Concentration Camps in America, in which he documented all the concentration camps. And he said in Indiana right now, he said they got an underground facility there in which they had the railroad tracks that run underground. And he said that when they go underground, it leads to a hidden underground furnace, which they can cremate bodies. But anyway, getting back to King Alfred, they have a list of different organizations. These are black organizations. They had the black Muslims up at the top. They had Dr. King's organization. What was that? The Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which was Dr. King, and he wasn't even violent. Yeah. But they had his name and his organization on the list, and all that they said in the document that let me read an excerpt what it says. It says that each passing month has brought new intelligence that despite new laws passed to alleviate the condition of the minority is still not satisfied. Demonstrations and rioting have become a part of the familiar scene. It is expected, therefore, that when those objectives are denied, the minority, racial war must be considered inevitable. When that emergency arrives, we must expect the total involvement of all 22 million of the minority. And they go on to say that once this project is launched, its goal is to terminate once and for all the minority threat to the whole of the American society, indeed the free world. So the King Alfred plan is a plan to, when white folks finally get fed up with us, to cut us off in buses and trains to concentration camps, which they have located all over America. Okay, in fact, they built some new ones under Bush.
We get into all that.
Huh?
No, I said we finna get into all that, but go ahead. I'm following you.
When Bush and Cheney was in office, they built new concentration camps under the organization Halliburton. Okay.
As I have gotten older, I have decided we really need camps for adults. We really need camps for adults. So, maybe mix it up a little bit. You can have the red cabin, the blue cabin.
People calling me saying they go out to their mailbox and they find a little red dot or a little blue dot on their mailbox. mailbox, and they wonder what the little red dot and blue dot is. Well, it's marking your mailbox by the government, so when foreign troops come in here on us after martial law, if you have a red dot on your mailbox, they take you out immediately and shoot you right in the head.
All right? So they got these concentration camps all over America, and the closest one, I believe, to Chicago is in Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. I think I might have heard that they had one at this military base that's closer to Chicago. Okay?
Stop right there for a minute, Salim. So now, the King Alfred plan is basically a plan, and all this you was just saying, to make it in layman's terms for these brothers out here to hear this, is a plan they had on the books to totally annihilate all the blacks out here, to get rid of them.
Congress shall now vote for approval of H.R. 8791, the Homeland Terrorism Preparedness Bill. First responder personnel and vehicles would be doubled if said attack leads to more than 80% of national population being affected by classified. The first large-scale outbreak of classified, dependent upon which comes first. Civilian and military units shall be trained in containment and combat of classified. Should event occur in urban areas, Jesus, that's classified, far surpassing our darkest nightmares.
That plan is that's what it's about, to kill all of us, to knock us on out.
Well, let me just say this here. See, we have more evidence than just the King Alfred plan, because here's let me warn everybody about this. See, they want to tell you that the King Alfred plan is fake, right? But the King Alfred plan was documented. There was a researcher, and I heard Steve Coakley mention her before. There was a white lady researcher by the name of Mae Brussel. I got a copy of a talk by her where she authenticated and said that based on her research, the King Alfred plan was real. Okay? But also a brother by the name of Samuel Yetse that worked the news. Yeah, I'm sorry?
I ain't saying nothing, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a book entitled The Choice, written by Samuel Yetse. I think he worked for Time magazine or either Newsweek magazine back in the day. He's dead now. The book came out in 1972. The book is titled The Choice, where he talked about he discovered the same plan. In fact, the United States government had did a test with the U.S. Navy had did a survey with white folks. What would they feel if black folks was exterminated? And the majority of white folks said that they wouldn't care.
Wow.
You see, so this plan is real. This plan is real. The concentration camp is real. That they have, and they also, on top of it, the King Alfred plan mentioned certain chemicals. They were going to use chemical warfare in order to exterminate the millions of black people. But now we know for a fact today that the CIA, under its MK Ultra program, came up with different viruses and bacterial and chemical warfare that would only affect black people with melanin.
Yeah, I'm listening. I got
you understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that the plans is on the books to wipe black people out. And now you know that in North Carolina, remember when they had that big thing last year where they had them tiki torch carriers, all the white racists that showed up? You know, most of them belong to groups that wasn't no joke. Most of them that belong to these new neo-Nazi and racist organizations, they actually are saying that they want black people exterminated. And these are the people that supporting Trump.
Yeah. So now back
to it's real. This thing is real. And it's a shame that all of this information is coming to light about what white America has planned for black people, and then black people turn around and hating and killing on their own kind.
Right. So now the Rec 34 is out here. Let's go a little bit more into it. Now, how is it go? According to the plans, who had the power to implement it? and what was he going to deputize? Give me a little synopsis of that, because I'm finna go somewhere with this real quick. But go ahead, give us that on that.
Well, in the King Alfred plan, at the beginning of the plan, it says the National Security Council, the NSC, the Central Intelligence Agency, the FBI, you know, which came out with COINTELPRO, you know, the Department of Justice,
Go ahead. Well, I'm talking about powers. Who got to, like, do the president have the power to declare it, or how does this go? We already understand all the institutions that's involved.
Well, of course, the president is the executive officer.
Okay. So now I'm saying that to say this. When Obama was in office, see, this thing is set up inch by inch. He started doing executive orders. I don't got to go through Congress. I can just do an executive order and do what I want to do. If he was white, we would have snapped about that. Like, hold on, hey, you trying to do some Hitler stuff. But since he was black, they slipped that in. So now the president now, Trump, and whoever else coming in now, has the power to override Congress and do this executive order of Rex 84. This is what I'm trying to get to. During a state of an emergency. So after Blue 2019, that's how many years of us being in captivity? We started captivity. What year, Celine?
1619, according to most historical reports.
And so now coronavirus popped out 2019, right?
Right.
Okay, that's 400 years. So they know the captivity is about to end, so they pulling this thing with the coronavirus. So if it's in a war or an emergency like a pandemic, they can suspend the Constitution and they can put people in camps. This is all going with the reason why we bringing up Rex 34 that was on the book. This is sneaking in right here. So now this is where we at with it. Go ahead, brother. Can you respond on it?
Well, yeah. So all of these different agencies, at the behest of the president, who is the executive officer, you know, over America, have the ability to put this in place. And as I said, now they mentioned the Central Intelligence Agency. I mentioned earlier that the CIA is the one that came up with these different, created these different viruses. In connection, you know, with the Human Genome Project, when they experimented on the different viruses and chemicals, you know, that they could use that would only affect the genetic makeup of black people. So this is a very serious situation that we're living under, and it's very unfortunate that most black leaders, you know, don't even know about stuff like this, or if they know, they don't say anything to wake our people up. You know, what's going on.
They paid off. What did Donald Trump say a while back, just not so long ago? He said to the Proud Boys, he said, what did he say? Get ready, stand by.
Yeah.
You know what the hell is? This is Rex 34 thing we talking about.
Yeah, that's some cold language, because a lot of those individuals, like the Proud Boys, et cetera, they are members of law enforcement. They're in the CIA, they're in the federal government. They have infiltrated the military, and you know that once this stuff go down, you know, then they gonna, you know, you got some of these Negroes calling in the need for the National Guard to stop the violence in the black community. Well, number one, a lot of the violence that goes on is instigated, you know, by agents, you know, that come amongst our people. But when they send the National Guard in, the National Guard is going to be including members of these white supremacist organizations who come in with the sole intent of eliminating as many black people as possible.
And then rounding you up and take you to the camps. Now, let me get right to the point. About 5-6 years ago, a lot of Walmart went out, closed down for no reason. They said because of plumbing problems. A couple of people went over there with cameras and looked inside. They wasn't doing no plumbing problem. They was turning the Walmart into concentration camps, bringing in towers, turnstile where you can come in but you can't get out. And they got one and a security guard out there watching, but can't nobody come over there and do what they do. So they've been turning Walmart in the concentration camps for the last 6-7 years. Yes. A lot of Walmarts is right off of the expressway, easy access to the military by a train yard somewhere. So, and then, who was Sam Walton? Sam Walton, back in during the Nazi Wars, he was a contractor to build concentration camps. Sam Walton owned Sam's Club and Walmart, and he was designing concentration camps.
Interesting.
Go ahead.
Interesting. And you remember now another thing that they're gonna use as concentration centers or camps, that they can use some of these sports stadiums. Now remember when Hurricane Katrina went off, they herded a lot of black people off into that big sports stadium down there in New Orleans, right? And also one of the things that we have to understand is that a lot of black community is situated, along expressways in which the outside entities like the military could easily have access to. Let's look at here in Chicago, White Sox. Where's White Sox Stadium located at?
It's on 35th Street. Off the E-way.
Right off the expressway.
Right in the black
close to the black community.
That's right. Not only that, Salim, they can use these public storages and turn them into camps. So all these things are designed, but there's actually a lot of these things are designed for that.
I can see that. Exactly. So what we have to understand is, as black people, as a race of people, is we have to understand whilst we are asleep, these white folks are constantly awake. They play chess whilst they got us playing checkers.
Yeah. So now, like I say, while you brothers out here fighting one another, they have a plan. They put it up right in front of you. They only gonna allow you to do this for so long. They want you to do the things you do so it can make an excuse. Your own people gonna say, "Come on in, martial law." They don't even know what martial law really is and what it means. But you're going to cry for your demise. And that's what y'all doing now. Y'all got to wake up because this thing is serious. We're only a month away from Agenda 21. The Agenda 21 is a plan they had to get the world population down, kill about 7 billion of us. It really is about us, though. Getting us out the way. So, if y'all want to know a lot more about Rex 84, there's a lot of more information out there. We just gave you a brief bit. Y'all need to be aware of the King Alpha plan and what's getting ready to happen. Like I said, 2019 made 400 years the coronavirus pop out, and then they can bring on Rex 84 when it's a national disaster or a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this stuff this is a pandemic. So they can go ahead and do what they do. It's time. They getting ready to make their move. Y'all got to wake up. So, you got anything else to say, Salim, on this real quick before we close out?
Well, the only thing that I want to say is we have to understand, how the United States of America work. It was really never designed, for the well-being or success or the upliftment of our race. We have to understand that we are behind enemy lines. We are prisoners of war. We are prisoners of war behind enemy lines. And when you never hear about people that are captured, American soldiers that are captured fighting each other in the enemy prison. You understand? They are trying to work together and plot how to escape the plots of the enemies, not fighting against each other. So my message to the young people is that understand the satanic plan plot against you, educate yourself, unify, and work together for the benefit of the race.
Yeah, and I say it like this, wake the fuck up. Shit. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? But in that, I'm going to leave my elder, Brother Salim, and we'll see. We got something else we going to put out right now. Peace, and I love y'all.